live on in your safe space beach.
So again, we have a few of her chapbooks and some pins and with berets.
Yeah, raspberry berries.
Yeah, just hanging out on the table over there. Our next reader, find her work on the back table as well. Sarah Frances Moran. She is a writer, editor, animal lover, video gamer, queer Latina. She thinks Chihuahuas should rule the world and prefers their company to people 90% of her time. Her favorite ice cream is cookies and cream. Eat that all day. Again, her chapbook, Evergreen, released this summer from Weasel Press. She's editor, founder of Yellow Chair Review. Please welcome up Sarah.
I need at least 3 poems before I stop being nervous. I'm just kidding. Okay. Thank y'all for having me. Emily turned me on to this awesome social event, and I'm just happy to be here, and obviously nervous and adored. So, y'all all know Pat Robertson, right? Good old Pat. So it turns out that Pat Robertson is on to me, and it turns out that I'm a terrorist. I don't have any plans to bomb anything, no plots for blowing up buildings. I don't care how you dress. I don't care who you love, where you come from. I don't care what God you say your prayers to. I'm a very tolerant, carefree person and nervous when I read poetry. But I am in love with a woman. And not only am I in love with a woman, but I want that love to be treated with the same respect that anybody else's is. I want to hold hands in public without fear. I want the right to get married. When? I want my short hair to not be a page turner, a head turner, page turner, head turner. A head turner in the women's bathroom. I want acceptance. I want my love to be free, and I want it to be open. Now, you have to be aware that this is an extremely militant agenda. It's so militant that there is a good chance that every single one of you will leave here lesbian, even the men. I'm that radical. So when I depart tonight, I'm heading back to my gay cave of master plotting so I can plan to take over the world. I'm the lesbian megamind, and all of you will be my minions. That's as funny as I get, so it's all downhill from there. Yeah, good old Pat. My next one is from my chapbook, Evergreen. This is my rougher material, so we'll get through this together. Hopefully I won't cry. I work with animals. I know Chihuahuas were mentioned, and I have a small obsession. I have 3. But this particular poem came out of when we get dogs that come in that are scared, we put yellow caution cards on their kennels. And I always think, what are they thinking that makes them so afraid that they're going to want to bite us? And I was thinking about that, and anyway, this poem came up. It's called Caution, Go Slow. I work with the flinching dog, unable to speak its history, and given the yellow caution card to decorate its cage, the cower and the cover and the rage that hides behind the snarl of teeth and spit. I'm full of snarl and teeth and spit. The low growl hide in the corner I cut is a mask, but somewhere inside the shiver is forgiveness, and somewhere inside the eyes is love. And I flinch sometimes when you touch me. I resist my snarl and teeth and spit. I cannot find the forgiveness inside my shiver. I cannot recognize the love behind my big brown eyes. I want my own cage and my own understanding, but I'm silent now like the dog, unable to articulate my history, full of snarl and teeth and spit, not seeing the love pouring off the raised hand, but desiring. This next one's titled PTSD. Did you know that inside the silence is where the booms are found? The inner dialogue, the way the branches erect, mimic bad dancing to unheard tunes. You ask question after question, wondering where the answers will come from, with a hope that I can't duplicate, that my mouth will bloom what you desire. That rose is black and beautiful, and set inside of soil that's sprinkled daily with a healthy concoction of specialized Miracle Grow, 1 part Zoloft, 2 parts Xanax, and 3 parts whiskey. You taste it on my lips, my tongue blossoming with the things I can't say, and my body frigid with the things I can't feel. What's wrong becomes your mantra, becomes your sing-song melody you pray moves me, becomes the catalyst, becomes the wick on the bomb that's inside my belly. And now you know that it's inside where the blasts go off. Thank you. I also don't prepare, because what I found is that anytime I prepare, I'm going to read these in order, and then I get up here and I'm like, I don't want to read any of this. So I fumble it. My mom has an obsession with Charles Bukowski. I don't know why. But she sent me a text one time to tell me that she was reading Charles Bukowski, except that she was drunk, and so it came off with Makowski. So anyway, I wrote this one called Mama Makowski. Makowski. This is what my mother calls herself via text after an afternoon of drinking. She means to call herself Bukowski, but even sober, her texting skills are very poor. She loves Bukowski. He makes her think of her father, which in turn makes me think of my father. And then I drift to that thought that lingers always in the back of my head about fathers and drinking and violence. And it seems we follow a similar stream if even we didn't mean to. The only difference is my father is still here, and I was able to experience him through my teens long enough to hate a part of him. I find that the emptiness is paralleled, though, the longing for something not there, in her case, an actual alive person, and in mine, someone that I can't make him be. Mama Makowski and I have our fathers flowing through our veins. We adore them. We fantasize about holding their hands and looking up at them with adulation, a piggyback ride, a stroll through the park, a sincere and quaint, sobering conversation over coffee. Small desires that Mama Makowski and I share, an understanding of broken childhoods and even further broken men, Bukowski, booze, bullets, bravado, the stuff that fathers are made of and also destroyed by. We can read more of that sadness. Purchase a copy. The next few, or the rest of the few that I'm going to do, are from an upcoming collection that I very recently finished writing. I decided to use the deck of Loteria. I don't know if some of y'all are familiar with that, the Mexican bingo game. I took each card and just used it as, and sometimes very literal inspiration, and sometimes I don't know where the poem came from with the image. But it was fun and kind of weird and kind of crazy. So I'm going to read from that. The first one's La Dama. I haven't ever read any of these, I don't think, so this will be fun. Siempre está en mi corazón. She says this to me, rolls te quiero mucho from her tongue, and I am broken. She doesn't know that I'm broken, that mi dama was polished before I understood what polished meant, that I was dropped and swept by the busted broom of mi familia, that somewhere between the swig of a Budweiser and the turn of the tomo todo top, I was falling. Vanishing from every shelf, the white shelf, the Mexican shelf, the little girl shelf, the innocent shelf, the shelf of sexuality I hadn't mastered yet. My pieces are everywhere, a kaleidoscope of misunderstood identity. Hello, my name is not in a box. Hello, my name is not Chicana or Güera, queer or maricón. My name is not shelved, and it's in the dustpan of her hands I've been molded. She whispers, te quiero mucho, and I am broken. I am broken. Yo soy derrota. I'm also bad with times. Whenever y'all are ready, just pull out the hook, the Apollo hook, and just pull me away. Have any of y'all played the Loteria on something?
That's my game.
Right? Yeah. I mean,
All
you use a bean, right? You use beans, not. Yeah. I grew up playing it. It usually involved Lots of drinking by, the adults who are supposed to be watching the children. And yeah, it's just one of those things. All right, the next one's la bota, the boot. They teach us to place the boot on their necks. Are we not more fortunate the way we're lucky with our teeth? The dog is a soft spring shower, the gentle sway the rain plains after the thunder strikes. Who tied our hands behind our backs and asked us to growl? There's no honor in breaking, in the whip or the lash. The cardinal has a song, and it's always been about our destruction, not what's eventual, but what we cultivate. The wild horses aren't wild anymore, and even untamed, their eyes show shackles, show how our hands are bound and we aren't kind anymore. And the storm is us, upright and sweeping, hands that make monsters, hands that make boots that crush. Are we fortunate with these hands? Are we gods? The way the wolf howls, does it break your heart that they worship us? So like the gods that we kneel for, like the ones we slaughter for, make fire, speak, touch, dance. We dance with the beat that aches, forget innocence and constellations, how much kinder they are, heartbroken, broken, the way we break things with purpose. The boot, the hand, the mind, the desire to bend things meant to be wild, iron and bars, concrete and circumstance, eyes that are chains despite the free wind. The way we march for a greatness unknown, trample the earth, lie to ourselves and our mothers, sing and forget that we're small underneath that boot. Thank you. One time? This is my crazy one, I think. Yeah, read this one. This is fun. I wouldn't read this anywhere but here, probably. I don't think I've read it anywhere but here. All right, this one's called The Rose, La Rosa. This is about my grandmother, who was the craziest little Mexican woman ever. Said the most inappropriate things all the time. So every dirty word I ever learned, she taught me. After a day of bantering, she lay there bedridden and sassy. Leave me alone, girl, or I will pull your panocha hairs. And so the dawn of the pussy transpired. Each greeting to visit her started with a yelling of "Viva la panocha!" She would feign disgust or laugh. If you asked her about feminism, she'd snort. If you asked her about politics, she'd give you the finger and tell you about how they all couldn't tell their asses from a hole in the ground. And it was in her silent jokes that you knew, in her subtle way of protest and dialogue, that she planted the seeds for generations worth of strong women. Telling my mother once, "I don't think Sarita likes the men." Her own small way of accepting and understanding me. She fought the system. She married a white man. She rode a Harley. She divorced. She raised 3 half-breed children. She helped raise half-breed grandchildren. She knew the power of the hummingbird's soft beats. She painted the color in the blue bonnets, and she still flies in the cardinal song, seeps from the sweet nectar of the rose. And her blood runs deep inside a country's line that we all call home, and that blood was much more than the sum of her children's white parts. And I write these poems. I fight so we don't forget where we came from. I study to understand the paths she crossed. I find strength in the songs that she sang. I hear the harmonicas hum. I remember her laugh, her tears, her anger, and her love, and I know the power in my blood. Viva la resistencia, viva la panocha. I lost my book. I will wrap up one more. I just gotta pick one. How about y'all throw out a card number, 1 through 54? It'll be fun.
27.
27 and 25. All right, I'm gonna pick between the two. Let's see what comes up. All right, we're gonna do 27 just because it's more relevant. 27 is El Corazon. I actually wrote this one for the victims at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando. We aren't supposed to use love in a poem. Piled in every corner, the pink sheep piled in every corner. It is stacked with beating hearts, all pump and spit. Stack the love, open the door, and imagine all those strobe lights in staccato. Imagine the break of lighting and difference, all of the desire that leaves and waits like the thinning of understanding. We break silence and the glass splatters. The rivers and lakes overflow and swell with those hearts still beating at the bottoms. beating and pulsing and boiling over with love. Love that thing that cannot break. Love that thing that cannot be wrong. But don't send me your words riddled with that word love. And don't tell me that all of this has all been done because of love. Sticky and wet with death, the lessons we reap in the waters where we go to drown for love. We hear the rip and think it's music. We feel the cut and move our bodies faster. We think the heat is eternal and that the water is deeper than heaven. But it's really all this love that we're dancing for.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I know I speak for everyone here when I say that we are now all your lesbian minions.